Hey everyone, it's TJ, DominateDepression.com. I'm in San Diego. It's kind of funny. It's like the 1 out of 5 cloudy days they have per year. But today I want to talk about something that is probably messing you up and you don't even realize it. And it's that if you have depression, there's nothing wrong with you. So I've just talked to someone on the phone last week. I've talked to a lot of people. I had the same struggle myself. It's when you identify the depression as yourself. What I mean is, let's say you wake up and you're depressed. You might have thoughts like, oh, I'm just such a weak person. If I was strong, I could beat the depression. Another one is, what if I'm just imagining things? What if it's just all in my head and I'm just unable to snap out of it? I just can't shake it off. You know, the worst one of these is actually what I used to think is, I'm a bad person. And you start thinking that, and then you think you have to do all these things. And you know, ran a marathon, I went skydiving, I did all this crazy stuff because I was like, no, it's just me. I'm just a bad person. So I got to do all this stuff. I tried, positive thinking. Like every negative thought I had, I would write it down. I would try and reverse it, and it was very stressful, and it didn't work. And why didn't it work? So let's say you have a friend named Tim. Tim comes and he picks you up in his car, and his car is a little run down. As you get in the car, Tim tries to start it. It's making that fast clicking sound, probably his battery's dead or something. And all of a sudden Tim is like, oh man, I suck. If I didn't suck, this car would start. You're kind of looking at him like, okay, whatever. Finally his car starts, right? You're driving down the street, his suspension's blown, so every bump you hit, the car's rocking, and he goes, sorry. Like, if I was mentally stronger, this ride would be smooth. We wouldn't have to worry about it. This would be a piece of cake, right? And you keep going, it's really hot, and he's like, hey, I've been trying to think positive, and the car is still hot. I can't get the AC to work. Like, I'm just mentally weak. I just suck. And you're looking at him like, hey, Tim, calm down. And then you keep going, and all of a sudden the car breaks down. You get out, he finally says, look, I'm just a weak person, I suck, I was thinking positive, I was trying to get to the destination, it just didn't work, I'm a horrible person. What would you say to Tim? Like, would you say, yeah, it's your fault, your car sucks because of you? Or would you look at him and just kind of say, you probably just need to fix your car? And so that leads me to the next point, and it's that depression isn't your fault. So when I was telling you that story about Tim, what were you thinking about him? Were you like, what was your impression? Did you think Tim was a bad person, or were you kind of just sitting there like, Tim, it's just your car, right? It's not Tim, it's his car. It wasn't running right. That's why he couldn't get to his destination. And with depression, why a lot of people get confused, including myself, is we're so just bombarded with the messages that depression's all in your head. You just have to cognitively think better, and that's not always the case. Yes, some depression can be situational. Yes, some depression can be your thoughts are messed up, and that is a piece of the puzzle. Don't ignore thinking positive and doing all that, but if the car's not running right, it's not going to run right. If you're sitting there and your body is not working properly, your mind's not going to work properly. If you're deficient in magnesium, you're deficient in vitamin D, you have thyroid issues, and you're allergic to gluten and you're eating bread all day, well, no wonder you're breaking down. No wonder you can't think straight. No wonder nothing is working. So the thing with this is all that stuff about thinking positive, being realistic, like setting goals, that's all good. But the problem is Fly keeps coming at me. It's probably because I'm not thinking positive enough, so he's bugging me during my video. So the thing is, the problem becomes when you think that depression is you. The problem is when you think the depression means something about who you are as a human being. Because it has nothing to do with who you are as a human being. If the car's not working, it's just not working. It just needs some parts needs to fix, and then it'll work. It has nothing to do with you. So the key here is you have to realize that you are not mentally weak. There's nothing wrong with you for being depressed. All you need to do is figure out the root causes for you personally of why you're depressed and fix those. Just like a car. Every car that goes to the shop or you get underneath has different problems. You try and start a car and the engine's not working, it could be 100 different things. So what you have to do is figure out what's actually causing that depression for you and fix it. And once you fix it, then the car runs. Once you fix it, then your brain functions properly. If you're sitting there and you think something's wrong with you, remember, there's nothing wrong with you if you have depression. The depression isn't you. There is a root cause. Something happened physiologically, and it's like your body is sounding an alarm. It's like, hey, I don't have enough magnesium. Something's wrong. There is just something chemically going on that is producing those thoughts. So remember, if you're being bombarded by all these negative suicidal thoughts, remember those thoughts aren't you. There's just something chemically going on that is causing those thoughts. So once you're able to separate yourself from the depression, realize something is just off, it's just a car that's broken down and needs fixing, that allows you to have the correct perspective, and it just takes away all the overwhelm. It takes away all the negative baggage. Hey, here's depression. It's over here. It's separate from me. I get to fix the depression. I get to figure out what's wrong, and then it will start working properly. Okay, now that we know depression's not your fault, you still got to realize there's a fine line. It's still your responsibility. So obviously there's nothing wrong with you. Depression's not your fault, but it's still your responsibility to fix it. Like, nobody's going to come and save you. Nobody is going to be able to do it. Like, I had days where I had to just wake up, and it just took every ounce of willpower just to brush my teeth, just to move. But it's like, I just have to do this. I just have to move. I have to go get a test done. I have to go read this book. I have to check this out. You got to get under the hood, and you got to figure out what's causing your depression for you. So you don't want to sit back and just, hey, nothing's wrong with me. Depression's not my fault. I don't got to do anything. You don't want to be a victim. You still have to take an active role in fixing the depression. You accept, hey, this has nothing to do with me, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to get under that hood and I'm going to fix it. For me, I had all these ideas about depression. I was like, yeah, this will work, this won't work. But it wasn't until I said, look, I have to do this. I'm going to do this the next year. This is all I'm going to do. I actually wrote a letter to myself, said I'd try everything, and if it didn't work in a year, I'd kill myself. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But that's just the state I was in. That allowed me to read any book. That allowed me to invest in a doctor. That allowed me to just try out supplements, buy healthy food, just see what works. You know, start tinkering around, figure out what your root cause is. And then once I found it out, then the depression was lifted. I got off antidepressants. I started feeling better. The brain fog started going away. The brain fog's the worst. It's like I was just walking around just foggy, like it's like trying to drive a car across the country and you can't even see 5 feet in front of you, and that was how my life was every single day. But once I just, hey, I got this thing, it's depression, there's something wrong, I got to figure out what's wrong with me, and I'm going to fix it no matter what. Cool, so here I am in San Diego. I just wanted to record this because so many people message me or talk to me, and I can hear that they think something's wrong with them, that they're mentally weak, and it's, hey, I've been there. Nothing's wrong with you. You're not mentally weak. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with your body. Something's happening. The car's not running right. You got to fix a few parts, change some oil, and then everything will start working. So separate yourself from the depression. Don't let it bug you. Don't let it affect your identity. And then do whatever it takes to figure out exactly what it is for you and fix it. There you are. Hopefully you couldn't hear that in the video. These planes keep flying by. I'm mentally weak. I didn't think positive enough today, so they're interrupting my videos. Right there, it's all my fault. I'm a bad person. I let the planes into my reality.